Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2024 election, and I'm going to be going over my weekly prediction update as of right now. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new. And so pretty much, guys, Donald Trump in the five-way race is currently leading by 2.2%. Donald Trump is at 41.4%, Biden at 39.2%, Kennedy still at 10, with the other, two-party candidates or three-party candidates are actually making up around 4% right there. Trump is surging ever since the beginning of the trial. He's actually been surging up here because the polls take about a week to adjust, since the polls are people that are being polled after the trials are being polled through the 16th through like the 20 something, and then now the new polls are starting to reflect that, and Trump is doing quite significantly better. Harvard Harris has him up by 7. He leads by 9 according to CNN. YouGov has it as a tie. Marist is even a tie now. Biden is up here with Marist by 5 points. On April 16th, NBC News had Biden up by 2 in the three-way race, which is quite interesting. But there's not really a lot of Biden leading polls. Even from the past couple of months, Biden has only led in the five-way race in 6 polls in the past basically 4 months. He's only led in 6 polls nationally. In the five-way race, Donald Trump has basically led in all of the other races, which is quite intense. And so pretty much Donald Trump is in an extremely good position to be winning re-election in 24. If we look at Donald Trump's approval rating, we can see that he is currently sitting at only a -8% approval rating, which is actually pretty good. He was even up in the positives according to Harvard Harris and Rasmussen, which is pretty interesting. And he's only down -8.8, while meanwhile Biden is currently down -16.1. So it is twice as likely for a voter to disapprove of Biden than it is Trump, which gives Trump a significant advantage within the Electoral College. And so based out of that, we could see Donald Trump's approval rating at 44.1, Biden at 40.2. So if we were to calculate that, the popular vote that ends up coming out of that is a 2.9 percentage point victory here, which is a 7.4 shift. So I plug that into Gold Crown Politics part of my election model here. And if we go over here, we'll see I'm plugging in the current RCP aggregate with the current disapproval rating into my part of the model, and that produces an Electoral College result over here. And we're going to be going over all of these states as of right now. And so the first couple of states, we're going to see, basically safe Republican states throughout, like the Great Plains, for example. Donald Trump is going to perform extremely well in these parts of the country. Iowa, Ohio are basically going to be safe states. If we look at them in 2020, Trump won Iowa by 8%, and he's performing a lot better here. He's actually winning it by about 18 points according to this model as of right now. He would be ahead by 18 points. And what's actually quite interesting is that if you were to actually look for the general election polling, what's actually quite interesting about this is that he's actually up in Iowa by about 9 points according to the 538 and RCP aggregate, and the polls tend to underestimate him there by 6 to 8 points depending on the polls. So this result is not even that far out of the question. And if you even look at Ohio is considered to be an 18.5 percentage point victory as of right now. If you look at Texas and Florida, Texas is a 16-point win for the former president. He's performing a lot better than his 5.6 win in 2020. And if we look at Florida, Trump is severely, overperforming here, 16.25%. He's performing significantly well, 13 points better than in 2020 when he won the state by 3.4%. And if we look, South Carolina would be safe, as well as Alaska. Nebraska's first at large, and then we have Maine second being safe as well. So we're kind of coming to a crossroads here. California would be safe, Democrat alongside DC, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Vermont off the top of my head. If we keep going down, Washington is still an 11-point win, putting that in the safe column. And Oregon, as of right now, is actually below 10 points. It's a likely victory. It's only a 9-point win, which is a couple of points lower than what it was in 2020, which was at that point it was a 16-point win at the time. If we look at Colorado, it's actually it's a 13.5 percentage point victory for Biden, putting that in the safe column for him in 2020. And as of right now, he's only leading in Colorado by 6.2%. So the state is significantly closer than what it was before. Even a state like Illinois is only a 5.4 percentage point win according to the model. And if we go to the state of New York, we'll see that Biden is barely leading by a safe margin. He's only ahead by 11 points there. If we go to Maine's first, for example, we'll see that Trump is losing there by about, a couple points. And if we look at Maine, it is currently tilt Democrat. And if we look at, Connecticut, Delaware, all those states are basically still safe Dem. They're above a 10-point victory. New Jersey, on the other hand, is a likely state. As of right now, it is right above the likely margin there. And you can see that Biden is kind of struggling with the core base here as he is polling significantly low. Biden is only winning Hawaii by 15 points. And so that kind of gives us an expanded battleground map for us to work with for the 2024 presidential election. If we were to start off in Georgia, Donald Trump is winning the state by 9.2%. This would probably be because of, very low African American turnout. Trump's making gains with them, white working class voters, just a huge shift in the state back from the 0.24 victory that Biden had in 2020. And if we look at North Carolina, we'll see Trump's actually winning that by 11.7. That puts the state in the safe Republican column, putting Trump at already 251 electoral votes. If we were to look at Pennsylvania, Trump's up there by 8.4% there, and that gets him to exactly 270 without even having to win the rest of the states. Virginia is currently a 0.9 percentage point victory for the former president. He is barely losing this state on this map. And if we were to go to New Hampshire, he'd be losing New Hampshire by a similar margin on the map as well. If we were to go to New Mexico, what's actually pretty interesting is that New Mexico actually flips in this scenario. It's actually right above a point in the electoral college for Trump. He currently wins it by a point according to the model. If you look at Arizona, he's winning that by basically 8.6% as of right now. Nevada, funny enough, is actually right over a 10-point victory, so that would be a safe margin for Donald Trump. And what's actually funny is that if you look at some of these, state leads, for example, in Nevada, Trump is up in the five-way race by 7.5%. So if the polls, usually polls tend to overestimate Republicans, but if Trump gets underestimated by the margin of error, Trump is basically matching that margin according to the model. Even looking at Arizona, it is listed as a 8.6 percentage point margin of victory. And if we were to look at example, Arizona in the five-way race, Trump is up here by 4.7%. And so if Trump is missed here by a couple of points, which I think 538 was off by 2.5 in Biden's favor, it's still going to give Trump a similar victory to that what the model shows. In Georgia right now, if we go to the five-way race, Trump is up by 6 points there, and the polls tend to, fluctuate either way in terms of accuracy. And so a 9-point victory for Trump may not be out of the question either, as Trump is currently ahead by 6 points in the five-way aggregate. And even in Pennsylvania, Trump is up here by, currently is up by 1.6. The polls here also underestimate him quite a bit. In 2016, he was underestimated by a little bit by 2 points. In 2020, the RCP aggregate was actually spot on, but 538, I believe Biden was ahead by like 5.4. And Biden only won it by 1.2, so the polls can be pretty off there. So again, +5, +6 Pennsylvania, because of that, is not that unlikely either. And if we go to these other states like Wisconsin, Trump is up in Wisconsin by basically 9 points. And if we go to Michigan, he's currently up here by 7.1%. So it does vote to the left of the other two Rust Belt states. If we look at Minnesota, you will see that it is razor thin close. It is one of the closest states in the entire election here. And if we go to Nebraska's second, you will see that Donald Trump is currently winning the district by 2 points, putting him at 318 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 220 electoral college votes, showing my prediction from 2 weeks ago, actually. So the model currently has Donald Trump winning by a lean margin here. If we look at Nevada, Nevada's completely safe. So basically, right out the gate, Trump starts off with 241 safe electoral votes, pretty much. And that includes the state of Nevada, which is very, very interesting. And that puts Trump in an extremely decent position to be winning the presidential election, because he would only need Pennsylvania and Georgia in order to get there. Now, Biden would have to do some serious work here to really, even be able to win the election right now. Biden would probably have to, his approval rating would have to go up quite a bit. I in my last live stream, I actually did an analysis of like where Biden was polling at throughout the years. And what's actually funny is that Biden in 2021 and 2023 probably would have beaten Trump. More than likely, Biden would have probably recreated his 303 electoral college scenario. But in 2021, Biden was on average in the polls from April to June was polling ahead of Trump by 12.5%, and his approval rating was 15 points higher. So more than likely, Biden would have landslided Trump in 2021 if they had to hold an election every couple of months. Biden would have probably beaten Trump by quite a significant amount in that election, which I find to be very interesting. States like Kansas, were lean Democratic. Alaska was likely Dem. Texas was safe. It was a 13-point win for Biden. It would have just been a disaster for Donald Trump. But now Donald Trump is polling significantly better. He's even possibly going to be winning the state of New Mexico because of the huge Hispanic shifts across the nation, and is winning all the swing states by pretty really comfortable margins. The closest state on here, I believe, is actually Michigan. It's like a 7-point win, even though. And Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Maine are all basically voting together. And if the popular vote were to shift literally like a quarter of a point to the right, Donald Trump would be poised to win 347 electoral college votes. And so that's practically where the election is sitting at as of today, according to my model. And so if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to follow Twitter, and join the Discord in the description down below. And I will see you guys very, very soon.